This case involved two police officers, Azila bin Hadri and Sirul Azhar Omar, accused of murdering Altantuya Sharibu. The court must decide whether the evidence proves guilt or whether doubt exists. I want to meet Baginda.
I don't want to meet Altantuya anymore. Please, help me.
Don't worry, I will arrange police patrol near your house.
Azila, a police inspector, was assigned to patrol the area. Sirul, a corporal, later accompanied him to look for Altantuya.
I'm feeling you still, I'm feeling you right now. I'm with it.
Baginda informed the first respondent that Altantuya stayed at Hotel Malaya, Kuala Lumpur and gave him her room number. Azila and Sirul went to the hotel where Altantuya stayed. It shows Azila and Sirul at the hotel where Altantuya stayed, but presence alone does not prove murder. Altantuya went to the Baginda house alone. At the same time, the both respondents with PW7 arrived with PW7 car. After that, they have a brief conversation. Then, they left together with her.
Hello, is this police? My friend is missing. I couldn't contact her since last night. Can you help me?
Police investigation into a missing person report lodged by Altantuya's friend lead to the arrest of the respondent.
Prosecution, present your case.
Your Honor, the accused abducted disease and murder at Inshallah. We rely on court logs, physical evidence and discoveries of Section 27 of Evidence Act.
Your Honor, Azila raises a defense of alibi. He was not at the crime scene.
Explain the alibi.
An entry in the police station diary, D248, shows that Azila was at Bukit Aman and later on official duty. This is an official police record.
Your Honor, the maker of the station diary was not caught. Without the maker, the entry is cursive and cannot be verified.
The court agreed. An alibi must be supported by credible evidence. The station diary is inadmissible without its maker. The alibis failed.
The High Court found both accused guilty and sentenced them to death as required by the law at that time.
Counsel, address the appeal.
Your Honor, the station diary is an official record. It creates reasonable doubt about Azila's presence at the crime scene.
We agree. The diary supports the alibi. The prosecution failed to disprove it.
The Court of Appeal accepted the alibi and rejected the part of prosecution evidence and acquitted both accused.
His court will now decide the final appeal.
Your Honor, the Court of Appeal is error. The station diary is not automatically admissible. The maker was never caught.
We agree. The burden is on the accused to raise a credible alibi. Without the maker, the diary entry is hearsay. The alibi fails. The evidence against Cyril, bloodstained slippers, jewelry, and Section 27 discovery is strong. There was a common intention to commit murder.
The federal court reinstated the conviction and restored the death sentence for both accused. Years later, Malaysian law changed. The mandatory death penalty was abolished, allowing resentencing. Azila applied for resentencing and his death sentence was commuted to imprisonment. Cyril, however, had fled to Australia. Australia refused to extradite him because Malaysia imposed the death penalty at that time. Today, Cyril remains in immigration detention in Australia and his sentence cannot be carried out. This case teaches us that an alibi must be proven even when supported by the official record. Justice depends not on claims but on the credible evidence. The court spoke and the law evolved.
So, what is punishment? Punishment is when the law responds to a crime by imposing pain or loss on the person who broke the rule. It is not personal or emotional. It is the legal system holding someone accountable. Punishment can include compensation, specific performance, or imprisonment depending on how serious the offense is. Now, punishment exists to respond to crime in an organized way instead of allowing revenge or chaos. It helps maintain order and also teach people what is right and wrong by setting clear boundaries and protect society. Now, let's move on to deterrence. Deterrence is about preventing crime before it happens. The idea is simple. When people know that punishment exists, they are less likely to break the law because they fear the consequences. There are two sides to deterrence. First, it discourages the offender from repeating the same crime. Second, it sends a warning to the public that certain action will be not tolerated. Think of it like you thought at 3 a.m. you are about to do something illegal. Then, you suddenly remember prison exists. And just like that, deterrence works. You stop yourself. On to rehabilitation. Rehabilitation focuses on changing the offender, not just punishing them. Instead of asking how much the offender should suffer, the law asks how to prevent them from committing the crime again. This function is especially important for crimes that do not seriously harm society as a whole. Now, we move on to protection of the public. This function removes dangerous offenders from society so they cannot harm others. Now, we move on to retribution. Retribution means giving punishment because the offender deserves it. It is not about revenge or anger, but about fairness and justice. The idea is that when someone commits a serious crime, they must face consequences that match the seriousness of what they have done. If retribution did not exist, victims may feel that justice was not served, and society might see the law as weak. Now, we move on to denunciation. Denunciation is when society officially shows its disapproval of a crime. Through punishment, the court sends a clear public message that certain behavior is unacceptable and goes against the values of society. In denunciation, the judge represents society's voice. By delivering the punishment, the judge is officially saying that this behavior is wrong and unacceptable. Azila Hadri was identified as the main accused and was found guilty of murder. The offence committed was murder under Section 302 of the Penal Code, which together with Section 34 of the Penal Code means that the act was done with common intention, meaning the crime was committed jointly with another person and not alone. Azila was found guilty of killing Altan Tuya and was initially sentenced to death, as provided under Section 302 of the Penal Code at the time. Initially, the outcome of the case shows that Azila faced retribution. However, later on, following changes in Malaysia's sentencing laws, the punishment shifted and reflected denunciation instead. You might be wondering, What about Cyril? Another suspect in the case, fled to Australia before facing trial in Malaysia. Australia does not support or practice the death penalty, and because of this, they refused to extradite him back to Malaysia at the time when death sentence was still applicable. Instead, Cyril was detained under Australian immigration laws. He is not an Australian citizen, but he was also not returned to Malaysia to face trial. As a result, while Azila faced trial, conviction and punishment, Cyril avoided facing the same legal consequences. And that concludes the outcome of the case.
Let's go. Tengah panjat-panjat tepi, nak tunjuk kawan-kawan tu. Allahu Akbar. Dia kata baru. Apa sah? Gerak kereta ni, macam tak gerak aja. Dia gerak ke? Oh.